We are moving to workforce service providers, which is the last section of Introduction to Career Administration lecture. Let's start with the definition. Workforce service provider is any provider of workforce services. And the workforce service, consequently, is any service related to workforce development, recruitment, and career administration. By the way, workforce development includes education, but we will not touch education in this lecture because it will be a topic of the next one. And we already covered recruitment, so right now we're just like in career services. Career administration services. So I gave examples of several of them. Let's start with career counselor. Career counselor is a practitioner who gives advice on a particular occupation or industry using counseling techniques. Job coach is a practitioner who guides an employment candidate through a process of landing of employment, often without any industry and or occupational expertise in the candidate's areas of interest. And employment consultant is a practitioner who provides expert advice on his or her particular area of job market and or workforce services. So here we can see that the scope of any of those service providers is limited by their occupational and industry expertise. So let's say career counselor can use wonderfully or like perfectly, professionally, counseling techniques, but if this counselor doesn't know about an occupation, this counselor is not really helpful. So I'm not saying that they are not helpful at all, they are, but the goal is to know what particularly every of them do, not to have, I would say, distorted expectations. So let's go a little bit farther. Job Club is a non-profit group that performs as a workforce service provider. Usually, job clubs don't charge anything, and a very good example is Career Network Ministry, organization which basically we are serving, and it consequently serves its patrons. If I click on the video which they posted for their services, I can see that if you go like every Tuesday night in Vienna, Virginia, you can see many people, many volunteers. It's about 100 volunteers who will be helpful, who will try to help people with job search and resumes and interviewing skills and elevator pitch and you name it.
The Career Network Ministry is
so here we go about job clubs. Government Employment Office, in many respects, it's the biggest career service provider in many, let's say at least like in Virginia, and it serves both. It offers different workshops, it can provide you with the feedback, but often it also serves as an employment agency. So it may match you with a particular employer in many cases. But the most efficient and effective, I would say in some cases, can be professional BOD, and BOD stands for Board of Directors. Similarly to a Board of Directors in corporations. So personal BOD is basically key of your stakeholders, someone who has a stake in your life or professional life. It can be your relatives, it can be your significant ones, it can possibly your friends or co-mates, classmates, someone who cares, who really is interested in your case. because let's take a job club, which can be helpful, but at the same time, the job club will not like write your resume or submit your resume or move this resume to a short stack of a recruiter to be interviewed or to take a closer look. They're helpful in its own sense, but at the same time they are more like a sounding board rather than a real someone who will take an action on your behalf. They will not. So here I created a picture which may be helpful with regard to understanding where different service providers are at what stage. So on the top it's action team board. It's someone who really who can be helpful or who can suggest good actions. On the bottom it's sounding board for decisions. Someone who give you an advice, but at the end of the day you need to make a decision. On the left it's service provider as subject matter expert, and on the left administrative service provider. So it's more like to help you to navigate this enterprise, which once again a job search is an enterprise. So of course this matrix is not perfect, or table is not perfect, and if let's say you're looking for a job of a career coach, so coach will not be in the left lower corner. It will be vice versa. It will be in the upper right corner, because in this case career coach will know how to land his or her job clearly. I would say consultant has kind of the biggest subject matter expert. Of course, you can be lucky if some of your personal board of directors has an expertise as a consultant and can work as your personal consultant. It can be the best case scenario, or as your mentor, or maybe a trainer. At the same time, in many cases, it's not the case. You need to be your consultant, or you need to find someone who will consult you or mentor you, or you can hire someone who can help you to navigate through the process. So here I also mentioned employers. An employer is probably even bigger than government employment office can be with regard to workforce services. The only thing that employer will work mostly on for their own organization interest or benefit. But many employers provide new employees, especially new employees, with mentors or someone who possesses a certain area of expertise, or who is willing to share this expertise with another person, or persons who are willing to learn from the mentor. Here I need to say that a mentor shouldn't necessarily be a part of your employer. Once again, you can find a mentor in just outside your organization, but many employers have this practice to assign a mentor especially to a new employee. So saying this, I believe we are ready to go to Introduction to Education. So see you soon, and I'm looking forward. Bye-bye.